what they perceive as perks, and not get everything else that goes with it? Do you want to be discriminated against the rest of your life? The purposeful chronic underfunding is also a policy. I researched that for my second book. Government makes a very direct, purposeful decision to chronically underfund all of these programs because they don't want you living on reserve anymore. They want you to be under the jurisdiction of the provincial government. And so the more they make situations unbearable, the more people will move off until hopefully someday they can have those lands. And if that doesn't work fast enough, they have legislation to make sure that we all have extinction dates in our communities, because then the land just automatically reverts to the government. Very simple formulas. At some point in time, they will get you unless we do something about this. What about the discrimination against our people in every form and format, in the media, in the government, in schools? These things are not just our responsibilities. Every single one of our treaty partners, anyone who works with us, teaches us, gives us health care, has an obligation to know who it is that they're talking to know who they should be thanking for every single dollar and benefit that they have in this country, because all of the wealth in this country comes from our lands and resources. It comes from our dispossession. So it's not about feeling guilty, it's about saying thank you. I'm going to stand up for your rights because my wealth comes from your dispossession, and acknowledging that. INAC has a very simple mandate. It's on its website. And I show this to my students every year because their sole mandate, what they're given billions of dollars to do, 5,000 employees across the country, and that's just at Indian Affairs, is to improve the social well-being and economic prosperity of Canadians. If you had to grade them, they failed miserably, year after year after year after year. Any other government or organization who failed so miserably would all be fired. I think they should all be fired. We can take over their jobs. We need a few jobs, right? We could use the professional training. I want to take trips overseas and drink $16 orange juice. I want to have a job for life and a pension. And don't forget about the pensions and health benefits. So what can you do about this? Because I'm not trying to paint a very negative picture. I'm saying, what are the conditions that created I Don't Know More? What is it that we're talking about? And what can you do about it if you want to be involved? Learn more. All of us need to learn more. I have been brainwashing my two sons, who are now 19 and 20, they've survived, ever since they were babies, drilling into them every word of our treaties and our rights and our responsibilities. And they still struggle with how to respond to the public, how to respond to some of the hatred that comes towards them, that just automatically view them as something lesser. So we just have to learn more. We'll have the answers once we know the facts. And what you need to learn is not the opinions. Let's just skip over all the opinions and let's just look at the facts. Facts on everything. Because it's accessible now. Most of us have access to the internet. We can do it. Get involved. And it doesn't mean you have to stand on the front lines wearing camo and blockade something. It can be. It doesn't mean you have to be dancing in the streets if you're super shy. It can be that. But you can support people. You can say, well, you know what, my sister wants to go, so I'm going to babysit her kids today. That's supporting. You could be making sandwiches for people who are going to go travel to protect a protected wildlife area. There's so many things you can do. Even just talking about it, even just mentioning it, even just acting like we exist. Because Prime Minister Harper's last speech that he just gave about his future projections for Canada and economic wealth and prosperity didn't mention the word First Nation once. It's like I Don't Know More, and all of us don't even exist. And so we have to show them that we exist. You can help organize, and it could be organizing anything. It can be organizing a search for a missing girl in your community. It can be organizing health and wellness training, suicide prevention. It doesn't have to have the word I Don't Know More on it. Anything you do to contribute to your nation is I Don't Know More. So we've got to change this relationship. The Indian Act put us in a situation where we only focus on rights and what we get. Chief, I need a sofa. Chief, I need a fridge. Chief, I need a house. Those are all valid things. But at the same time, what are we all as individuals and families and communities contributing back to our nations? We've got to restore this balance. We've been out of balance for a little while. Some of us, not all of us. But that's what this is about, putting balance back in our relationship. Stay informed about what's happening. So it's not just about being educated. What's happening? What is Harper trying to do now? How will it impact you? And some of it's confusing, but there's lots of people who put resources out there. Even if you only read tweets, you'll know. Senator Brazeau got arrested today. Harper's involved in robocalls. How's this going to impact First Nations? We need to know this stuff. And we have to act on our responsibilities. And I know it's just adding one more thing to the lives of First Nations. We already deal with enough. But we also have responsibilities. To the best of our capabilities, when and how we can, there's things we all have to do. We have to talk to our kids about this stuff. We have to. We have to talk to our grandkids about this stuff. There's things that we can do at different times. If you can teach your grandkids Cree, that would be significant. That in and of itself is a huge building block for nation building. It doesn't have to have I don't know more on it. You don't have to be dancing. Be a teacher. Take the opportunity when someone says something really ignorant, instead of saying something bad back. Say, oh, well, did you know? Actually, this is the case, or that's the case. You would be amazed at how many allies we've added on just by having calm conversations in non-threatening ways. And you all have the ability to be teachers. And there's a role for everybody. You don't have to be, there's no one particular thing that you have to do. It's just about anything you can contribute. If you're an apprentice for your elder, that's good. We need those. If you're a great speaker, speak. If you're not, speak anyway. Exercise your voice. We have been too silent for too long because of residential schools, political backlash, discrimination, and everything else. And it doesn't matter if your voice gets shaky, or you knock over microphones, or any of those things. That all comes with time. That's just your humility and being humble coming out. And that's a respectful thing. There isn't a time I don't get up and speak before anyone where the first 5 minutes I'm not dying, I feel like I'm going to fall over. It's because I don't know everything. We all don't know everything, but our voice is important. Everything that we say, because it's an exchange and it helps our nations. And we can do this. This isn't an insurmountable task. It might feel like it. But think about everything that Canada has thrown at us. They've enacted laws to make sure that our culture and language was against the law. And we still have our culture and language. They enacted laws to keep us on the reserve. And look at where we are today. They put us in residential schools to make us forget about who we are. And we resisted and we went underground. They tried to keep our women down. They kicked them out of communities under the Indian Act. They tried to take all of our kids away. But our kids just keep coming back. Right? We keep surviving. We keep resisting. So if we can go through all of that, the scalping laws, the sterilizations, the residential schools, the laws against us being able to move. Imagine what we can accomplish now. Right? We have education, and traditional education as well as formal education. We're relearning all of these things. We're connected by social media in a way that we have never been. We can collaborate with the Cree and the Mi'kmaq people from opposite ends of the country. And we have succeeded. When they tried to introduce the white paper, which would assimilate us, we resisted. And they had to throw the white paper out. When they passed legislation in Ontario to take away our tax exemption, we protested and they had to amend the legislation, even once it was passed. There isn't anything that we can't do. And there's only a small number of us involved in I Don't Know More right now. And already look at the changes that it's making. Wampuscat blockaded that diamond mine right next to their community, and the vice president reopened the impact benefit agreement. We can do these things. We just have to kind of take that step forward. A little scary sometimes, but you don't have to be the ones on the front lines. You can just be supporting it. Our people are beautiful. All of our ways are beautiful. We have nothing to be ashamed of. Colonization isn't our gig. That's Canada's gig. Everything about us is wonderful. I wouldn't want to be anybody else in the world other than a Mi'kmaq person. And I love spending all of my time with First Nations because we are where it's at. We just have to keep standing strong and proud. And we will get this done. We did it before. And the other thing is that our ancestors are walking with us as we're doing it. We're not doing it alone. Even as everyone in Idle No More, all of our ancestors are with us. And you can tell. You can tell by the signs. You can tell when we have round dances and the eagles come. There's signs. All of this was prophesied as well. So I'm going to end with my video up there, because I can't actually click it. Right? Garvin?